It is D Done here, and we are back on Oakland A's franchise. This is episode 10, season 2. Today we have the draft, and we also have the trade deadline. I don't know if we will play any games. It just depends on how long it takes us to get through the draft and whatnot. I do want to put out a caveat that I've been dealing with some intense allergies the last couple days. So you may hear a little bit of raspiness in my voice. I may have to pause to cough here and there or blow my nose. I do apologize because I know those sounds are not pleasant in a video, although it has given me kind of like a deeper, raspier style of voice, which I think some people may like. So you're welcome for that, and you can thank the allergies. But without further ado, let's do a quick recap of last episode where we went through the month of June, and it was horrible. We only won 8 games. I just want to repeat that. In an entire month, we only won 8 games. And after beating the ever-living piss out of Houston 10-1, they have stormed back to take the lead in the division. Now, we are 10 games back in the division, and I think we are only a few games back for the American League wild card, 6 games back. So we're definitely not out of it. I don't think we're in a position where we're going to sell, but one area that I would definitely like to improve, if we can, is pitching. We have not a single pitcher, not a single starting pitcher has under a 4 ERA. And that is, and then they're not even close, 4.79, 4.87. We are giving up a ton of hits. We are walking. We are giving up home runs. We are doing everything wrong. And we have Trevor Bauer, who's 33 and regressing rapidly. We also have Paul Blackburn, who is regressing and 30 years old. JP Sears, our lefty, he is what he is. I don't expect him to be great. We just have to improve, and it always helps to have a lefty. Eric Lauer, he's young-ish. He is improving in most areas. The issue is he's just not playing well. He was a free agent signing in the offseason, and we were hoping for much better things. Gotten steadily worse since 2021, which is not what you want to see. But he still has some room to grow. And then our young stud, Mason Miller, who is not progressing, I think, as quickly as we had hoped and is just not pitching well. Improved a lot from his first year, from his rookie year, but here in his second he's just not doing well. So, all that said, our trade block consists of Zach Jackson, closing pitcher, who actually is not doing bad, but is incredibly inconsistent. We saw this last year where he was an all-star, and then second half of the season just tanked. He may actually have some value as a closer. He's relatively young, see potential. He has some elements there that some teams might like, so I feel like he has some trade value. And then Trevor Bauer, Paul Blackburn, maybe a team has an even worse pitcher that's maybe older. Maybe they think, they could get some value out of the last remaining years. And JP Sears, hoping for a team that's looking for lefty. And all we're looking for, we also have Abraham Toro. And I'm going to put Miguel Andujar on here as well. 29-year-old, has a decent bat, can play defense, but he's just not in the piece in our outfield. So maybe a team will look to him, and all we're asking for is some sort of help. If we don't get anything that looks super promising in the trade deadline, then we will look to our AAA squad to fill that gap. So, with that said, let's go ahead and sim to the draft, and we'll get it started. The Angels are interested in viewing in a trade, very unlikely, that we will trade in our own division. They want to give us a 22-year-old B potential shortstop, Kyron Paris. Looks pretty well rounded, good on defense. So definitely a good prospect, but they want right fielder Trent Grisham, who is our everyday starter. He is hitting pretty good. A little bit of a breakout year here with 13 home runs, already beating his total from last year halfway through the season. Better average, better on-base percentage, and OPS is about the same. So, and we have our shortstop position locked down. This trade does not make sense unless we were, absolutely selling, which we're not. So we will decline that trade. Sean Newcomb, relief pitcher, sprained elbow, out for 1 to 2 weeks. We'll go ahead and put him on the 15-day injured list. Max Muncy in Double A is no longer injured. All-Star Futures game, and looks like we have some All-Stars in our Double A and Triple A roster. No one in Double A. Interesting. That's surprising, considering we won the Double A championship for our league last year. And in Triple A, it's so good to see him improving. In Triple A, who do we got? Looks like Jacob Wilson, our young stud shortstop, is somehow an all-star with very unimpressive stats. Maybe his defense, I don't know. He's not performing particularly well. Cooper Bowman, also not performing that well. I guess it just doesn't take a lot to be an all-star at the minor league levels. Martin Meza, our first-round draft pick from the previous year, improving fairly well. Love to see that vision going up by 4. And he's kind of putting it together, 227. On-base percentage is very lacking. And you would think that his slugging would be a lot higher with so much power, but okay. Still looking for him to improve. J.J. Bleday has another great season going in the minors. Really good, actually. But just not hitting lefties well, it looks like. And that's it. Okay. So there is our minor league all-stars. We are going to advance to the draft. We have the number 4 overall pick. So we can get potentially an excellent player. And I think it's odd that we would go with a relief pitcher first, but I think this guy has potential to be a generational prospect. Given his potential, his overall rating, and then we saw last year there was a generational starting pitcher that got selected, not by our team. But the starter had high stamina, high strikeout per 9, and high velocity. I don't know what it takes for relief pitchers, but you would think limiting home runs, high strikeouts, high hits per 9 is what you're looking for. I don't know. We definitely need a young reliever that has high potential. So we could look for him. Of course, there's always great starting pitchers. So I'm certainly not worried about finding that. So whenever we go to, what I like to do is when I'm going through my board, there's also a closing pitcher, right, that we looked at. Why is he not showing? Or was that last year? Maybe having a brain fart here, but I could have swore we discovered another closing pitcher like we did last year that was very good. But maybe it was a relief pitcher. This guy looks phenomenal. Holy cow. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Let's see. I don't think we scouted any catchers. Okay, so we have first baseman Jimmy Post. I'm not exactly sure why he's ranked as high as he is. He doesn't have good defensive stats. He doesn't really need to at first base, and his hitting stats aren't crazy. Um, but I guess he could be an option. He looks like at the very least he'd probably have decent potential. So we'll add him to the queue. Second base, I don't think we scouted. We did. More of a defensive player here. Probably a C potential. Nothing really super exciting. So likely not going to look to him. Third base, well-rounded individual. If this was our 100th pick, then maybe we go for it. But, we're not looking like, to me, seeing potential 70 to 85 means he's more likely to have a C potential than a B potential. His overall is going to be pretty low, probably in the 50s. So I don't know what we do with a player like that unless you just are desperate for that position, which we're not at third base because we have Matt Chapman. Left fielders, I think there was some guys similar to Meza in the first round last year. We have Brad Thompson, except for he's actually bad at defense, but he can play first base. That's probably where we would stick him if we did draft him. Big power bat, low contact, low vision, low discipline, but hits the ball, has decent speed, and again, would probably be a first baseman. Definitely not a high choice, but we will add him to the draft queue. And then we have Felipe Diaz. High contact, but not high vision and discipline. A little bit higher on the potential, so I would, ideally he's a B potential player. He can also play catcher, which I think is really interesting, so we will also add him to the draft queue. Let's see. This guy, Raul Espinoza, very likely C potential player. Not a ton here. Maybe if he falls way down, we look to snag him. Center fielder. Again, I don't know why we have him at 24. He's not even great on defense, and he's certainly not good at batting. So, position players in this draft were just not great. Just not a lot of great options. So this will likely be a pitcher-heavy draft, but always want to look to get at least one position player. Hopefully two, but likely just one. All right, so that leaves us with just starting and relief pitchers. Again, we're picking 4. So just looking, anyone here that's just absolutely crazy. This guy definitely looks phenomenal. That's the relief pitcher. We're going to add him to the draft queue. He might fall to us. He would have been interesting to scout. But, wait, why am I right fielders? Sorry. Allergy medicine's kicking my butt a little bit. Starting pitchers. I don't think we get... I very highly doubt that this guy falls, but we'll look. But definitely have some good starting pitching prospects. But I'm not going to add any to the draft queue just because we know that they're going to be good and we're going to have a lot to choose from. But this relief pitcher, he does look really good. And in my experience, it's not often that you have an A potential relief pitcher. Those are actually kind of rare. This guy looks very good as well. We'll add him to the draft queue. This was a guy we discovered who just looks insane. He's probably a C potential, maybe a low B, but I mean, look at that. K per 9, walks per 9, home runs per 9, control, velocity, break. Just insanely talented, and I believe he was a discovery pitcher. So he's likely going to fall, and I think someone we pick up in a later round. Same here, Roosevelt Bronson. Also love the name. Okay. So we don't have a ton on our draft board, right? But, if one of these players looks super enticing, maybe we take them. But at number 4, I don't think they're worthy. We're just hoping one of these guys falls to the second round, essentially. And with that, we're going to go to the draft. Let's get started. So, if you're unfamiliar with MLB The Show, once you start the draft, that is so loud. Once you start the draft, you cannot pause it. It's not like Madden. And Killian Castro, starting pitcher, goes first to the White Sox. We had him at number 8. He's also asking for $8.7 million, which is quite a lot of money. The number 2 pick is going to be Scott Moreno. Looks like that was a bust. Started off as a 3rd ranked prospect for us. We had him all the way down to 89. And the Giants take him at number 2, so that's a miss. The Rockies go with starting pitcher Wade Quintana, 18-year-old. We did not scout him, so unsure. And now it's to us. So, again, we have these position players, but I mean, Jimmy Post is the only one I think I would truly consider taking. We don't need, another low contact power bat. We have that with Mesa. And shoot. And then Felipe Diaz may not even be a B potential. It's nice to have secondary. When do we pick next? 38. Any one of these guys could very well fall to 38, judging on the ranking. 36, 16, 18. I don't know. Do we take a chance on this guy? He looks average at hitting. Again, we don't really care about defense. If he's playing first base, he just needs to be able to field the ball. Vision, discipline look okay. Probably a B potential player. Is that really what we want? Especially when we could get a similar player here. I don't know. All right, let's talk about Jorge Villa. This guy just looks insane. We have him at number 2 in the draft. Manny Osuna also looks insane. We have him at 34, which, okay. They must really value, what do they value? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what the value is. But he looks like he could be phenomenal. And Kyle Brown, a little bit older. We don't have him scouted all the way. Probably a C potential, but looks amazing. I think it's going to be Jorge Villa. I mean, for a relief pitcher, pretty good stamina. High hits per 9, high strikeouts per 9. Decent walks. Doesn't give up a lot of home runs. 4-seam, changeup, curveball, slider. Just great 4-pitch mix. Could be generational. Have less than a minute to decide, otherwise it's going to auto draft. We do have Anthony Matsui. Could also be generational. We have him at rank 1. Ooh, this is actually really tempting. A lefty, no less. He also looks like he could be generational, incredibly high stamina, high strikeouts per nine. We're going to go for it. We're going to do it. If we have the opportunity to draft the number one ranked player, I think we should take it. Anthony Matsui. We love the last name. He is our round one draft pick. Welcome. Welcome to the A's. All right, let's see what we get our next pick. All right, so all of our position players did unfortunately fall. So did Jorge Villa. I mean, none of that is surprising. So immediately after, nothing but pitchers, third baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, fielder, like everything just turned into position players. And so I guess this is going to be just a very pitcher-heavy draft for us. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But the only thing we even have scouted is one left fielder who doesn't look great. Doesn't look great. So, all right, I guess this is going to be the pitcher draft. I did want to kind of avoid it, but it is what it is. All right, so who do we got? All right, so we have Agustin Uribe from Cuba. Very high stamina as well. Limits walks. This is, a pitch to contact kind of guy. Very high potential, likely. Probably, he's definitely a B potential. Probably a 60-something overall. Probably like 85 potential, 65 overall. Just really high stamina. Decent around the board. Just doesn't have a lot of break, which is not good considering, slider, changeup, splitter, curve. All of those are breaking pitches. So how well does he actually pitch? Who did we have on our board? Manny Osuna and Kyle Brown. Kyle Brown just looks absolutely insane. Throws absolute gas. Nothing but fastball changeup. A lefty, older, but likely more polished. And then Manny Osuna. Both of these pitchers are lefties. Also gas, but a bigger pitch mix. And 3 years younger. I mean, he's got the heat, man. He has got the heat. I think adding to our bullpen would be great. Just want to really quickly look at the relief pitchers, and I think those are the top two guys, right? Yep. Roosevelt Bronson, but he's, I think, a discovered player, so he's likely going to fall. Okay. I think we have our next guy. It's going to be Manny Osuna, the 18-year-old lefty from Cuba. Absolute flamethrower, high strikeout per nine. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. All right. Let's go to our next pick in the competitive balance round, B. Here at number 74, we still have Kyle Brown because he, again, was a discovered player. We have him at 43. We're picking at 74. Again, I mean, this guy looks insane. If he has a mid-B potential, like if he can get to like an 85, 88, something like that overall, with these numbers, that's disgusting. I mean, the velocity. He's got to be our guy. So far we've added two phenomenal relievers, at least somewhat two players we think we're going to be phenomenal. Potentially, also our first round pick, potential future ace, maybe like Paul Skeens kind of vibe, who went 6 innings on 100 pitches with like 10 Ks. Insane. Okay, who else do we have here? We have Roosevelt Bronson, another discovered player who looks to be pretty good. I would love a little bit higher overall potential there. How about starting pitchers? Thomas Crespo, who we have listed as the 5th ranked player in the entire draft, 20-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. 20 years old, pretty big guy, 6'4", 188, a little lanky, but very likely has high potential, crazy high stamina, limits walks, which we love, and very high control, so that simulates very well. Has a 4-pitch mix, 4-seam, 2-seam, changeup, and a forkball, which is cool. Wow. The only thing is we scouted him at only 38%. We also have Dirk Washington, 18-year-old. Like, what are these guys, man? They're crazy. But after getting a couple high velocity guys, I think we go with Crespo here, a pitch to contact player, control artist. We got the same last year, and he is thriving down in AA. You know, it's possible Dirk is still there in the next, what pick is this? 76? Ooh, so maybe we take Dirk. Oh, but then we have this guy. Like, what are all these pitchers? Although he does not look good. He does not look good. This is a high potential guy that's probably like a 40-something overall. And is in the minors for like 7 years. But, yeah, I think this is our guy, Thomas Crespo. Looks like this is just a very pitcher-heavy draft. We saw very little in terms of talent in the position players. We didn't get one of the 4 or 5 guys that we wanted because they were mid to late first-round picks and we were picking high. So kind of one of those instances where picking high doesn't actually give you maybe the players that you want, but it gives you very good players. Okay. Who do we got here? We still have Bronson, who looks very good, just lacks a little bit of control. Pretty well rounded. Decent potential. We have him ranked 45. Young guy, tall and big. And starting pitchers, oh my God. Like this, as much as this guy looks good, especially, you know, having a talented lefty, the inability to limit walks and home runs is pretty scary. And he doesn't have great stuff being control, velocity, break. Like, it's just, he has insane stamina and probably limits hits and like gets decent hits and strikeouts per 9. I mean, we are picking here at 106, and he was an unranked pitcher, so maybe we take him, but I think this relief pitcher here at, let's take a look at this guy. Oh my gosh, just insane amounts of talent here. And also, we spend a lot of time discovering pitchers. And that shows. We have a lot of non-ranked guys that weren't sought or found by a lot of teams, but we found them. but I think we have a chance here to get another really great bullpen arm. We have a lot of C potential guys. If we can get, some B potential guys in there, that adds a lot of value down the road. Because good relievers, kind of hard to find. All right. Here we are at pick 136. Two more rounds to go. I don't think we pick any more relief pitchers. Not a ton of value. And again, look at these first two guys. Very high potential, decently scouted. Both, we have them 33 and 35 in the draft. So what are we looking at between the two? Mario Velez can't strike people out, but limits hits and walks. 3-pitch mix. Decent stuff. And then Antonio Padilla, another Cuban player. Better break. All right, I think, although Velez is only scouted 40%, but there's a good chance we still get a shot at Padilla, so we're going to go Velez. I think he's just maybe slightly better, just a little bit more talent. Go to our next pick. And he's still there. Shocker. So, oh my gosh. We may have gotten the best pitcher draft ever in MLB The Show. Obviously, they could all be C potential players. We don't know for sure until we sign them all. But I feel pretty good about this year's draft, and we may never have to draft another pitcher again. In all honesty, after this draft, we'll see. So the draft is done. Let's sim through the All-Star break. Okay, I saw ACL, and I was like, no. But it's just a sprain, so he's out 1 to 2 weeks. We'll put him on the 10-day. The Angels offer me a trade. They still want Trent Grisham, but they want to give me Charlie Booth. No, even less talent than you were offering me before. Not participating in the home run derby unless we have a player in there, which maybe next year, the year after. We do have an all-star. Padres trade Zach Jackson for a relief pitcher, Aniel De Los Santos, who is also not doing well. Looks like he had a couple good years previously. So what's the story here? High ERA, high whip. Okay. Negative WAR. He's striking out a lot of batters. At least one, like over one an inning. But giving up walks and giving up home runs. FIP is very high. So fielding independent pitching, that means like if you had no defensive players, like no outfielders, no infielders, it's just the pitcher versus the batter, what is your ERA basically? Right? So his ERA, you could in theory not strike out anyone and have a 0 ERA, right? FIP would tell a different story. So, I don't know. Like, why would I go from one bad reliever who's doing okay to another bad reliever that's doing worse? No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay. And we have our first day to sign draft picks. Actually, at first I was like really not in this draft because of the inability to get position players. But I actually feel really good about it now. We obviously want to sign, our high-ranked players. We might be able to get Thomas Crespo right off the rip. He wants 644, so we could get him under value. He's pretty interesting. Let's just offer him base. He signs. Great. We offer him the lowest amount that we possibly can, and he signs. Okay, so we'll focus on, let's see, 1, 2. Where was our third round? Here's our second rounder. Okay. Okay. And we also keep scouting, so we got plenty of time. And if we have to at the end, we'll just throw money at them. All right, so let's get through this week. Auto fix those lineups. All right, let's also look real quick at our All-Stars MLB roster. Chapman doesn't get the nod. I guess only batting 239. I thought he had more home runs than that. Okay. Geloff might be an all-star. Phil Maton, that's disgusting. I know it's only 25 innings, but he has been well worth the $7 million a year we're paying him. 31 strikeouts. How many saves does he have? 24 saves in 25 innings with a .7 ERA and a .71 WHIP. That is absolutely disgusting. And that's it. Maybe Geloff is an all-star. He definitely has the statistics to be an all-star. We'll see. He's on pace to maybe actually hit 30 homers, which we would love to see that. Okay. All right, so now that we've gone through this week, it's time to look at the trade block. Who do we have? First of all, let's look. We've gone through a couple weeks. Has anyone improved? I mean, a couple players. This guy's been incredibly disappointing. I had really high hopes for him. And again, if we can't make good trades, then we'll tap him out. But I think I could package Bauer and Blackburn. And then maybe we add Sears in there as well. I think Mason Miller still has too much upside and is too young to trade. But JP Sears might be tapped out. He might have hit his ceiling. So anyway, let's go to the trade block. And we're looking for, Andrew Chafin. Just phenomenal, always. Only 11 innings so far this year. We could definitely look to his contract. He's only getting paid $5 million. But he would be a great addition to our bullpen. But I think a starter is going to make the most difference. Edward Cabrera, a potential 25-year-old, not pitching well. So this would kind of be a sell, unless he improves, but he could also, and he's only $7 million for the next 4 years. A potential is great stuff. The velocity, that break, 5-pitch mix, there's a lot to like about him, but looks like he is walking a lot. He is. So he's not going to simulate well, more than likely. He's going to be probably very streaky, but definitely someone we might take a look at. But I also don't think that's necessarily super realistic. I don't think the Marlins trade 3 old ass dudes for 1 potential ace. Walker Buehler is having a horrible year. John Gray, about the same. Tyler Wells. Just Tyler Wells. Here's a guy, pitched 344 last year and 355 this year. Massive, 6'8", 260. He's definitely at a ceiling, but still improving a little bit. And he is pitching well. He is pitching well. He would cost us $9 million for the next 5 years, so till he's 34. I mean, look, he's a little bit younger than the guys we have, and he's pitching better. So Tyler Wells is definitely there. Jaime Barria is not pitching well, but has, a history of being excellent. We already looked at Aniel De Los Santos. Who is this? Oh my God. Oh no, but he has a torn Achilles tendon, but oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Looks like he got injured early on with only 16 at bats, just 5 games into the season. Whew. That's crazy. Would love to trade for him. But that's not what we're looking for. Zach Little is in the minors right now, pitching well. Okay, I mean, I think the only player that I really see that interests me is Tyler Wells. That also makes sense. He's pitching well. Our guys are not. So we're going to go out and try and make a trade. A trade also that makes sense. Okay. I don't think you make that trade in real life, right? Also, I should look how the Orioles are doing. Like, what makes sense for them? Standings. Okay. So, they're second in their division, but the Yankees are just running away with it. American League wild card. So they're in the hunt. So we're both in the hunt for a wild card spot. So what makes sense? What makes sense? We definitely want to dump Trevor Bauer. And then they want a third baseman and a center fielder. What do we got? We have lots of guys. Who do they have at third base right now? So they have Jordan Westberg, who's not performing particularly well. And we have Abraham Toro. So maybe he's a bench bat for them. Meaning, maybe. That's definitely their weakest position is third base. It can't be Maraschino because he plays starting short for us. Do we just... I don't know. Maybe throw in... This guy's actually doing pretty well for us in real life. We do have a ton of shortstops. And what do you want? A center fielder. A center fielder. Yikes. Yeah. If he were batting better, maybe that makes sense. Trevor Bauer and Abraham Toro. Who was the... There was someone else. Miguel Andujar. He's not batting much better, surprisingly. But he can play center field. I mean, they have Cedric Mullins in center. I don't know why they'd be looking for a center fielder. And they have depth and talent behind him. So maybe we just do Trevor Bauer and a prospect. Trevor Bauer and a prospect. Is that the direction we want to go for Tyler Wells? Oh, goodness. What to do. I think we go ahead with that. It makes... Let me look at their... What is their pitching situation anyway? So Tyler Wells is their fifth. They have other guys behind him that are doing well-ish. He's just older and looks like they're trying to get some new talent in. Trevor Bauer probably fits in there somewhere. They probably turn him into a long reliever. All right, we're going to do it. Trevor Bauer, Joey Estes. For Tyler Wells. All right, they accept the trade. So that was the only one on the trade block that really looked really appealing. We could look through, but I don't want to just pick a player and trade for him. I feel like that's too easy because it's really easy to manipulate the trade system in this game. But he does become our second-ranked pitcher, which is kind of crazy. And currently our best pitcher. So we're going to lead him off. All right. And now I think let's look at who we can bring up. All right. That's why you have the minor leagues. Caprillion has a pretty high whip, but a very low ERA. I bet if we don't have FIP. But very high WAR. Very high WAR. Not the best stats, but has good stuff. Velocity and break. Kyle Muller is pitching pretty well. Osvaldo Bido pitching well. And Luis Morales not pitching well. Interesting. I feel like it's just definitely kind of a roll of a dice. But, I mean, Caprillion has been pitching well. He has the pitch. He is going to make it to the MLB level. And we're going to send down... I don't think it would, in real life, I don't think someone would send down Paul Blackburn. So I think it's going to be Sears. Although, yeah, I don't know. Do we go out and make a trade for someone? Do we just kind of find a guy that we want? Walker Buehler, he's only pitched 34 innings. And he's been good in the past. So the Dodgers, what's the Dodgers situation? So he's just surrounded by ass loads of talent. There's no way he gets his shot at the majors. So he just must be in a reliever role, and then they just never use him. But he's been good in the past. He's obviously 34 innings, not pitched exceptionally well, but I think he's better than what he got. So even though the stats may not line up, where the hell did he go? We're going to try and trade. Will it accept it, though? If they're negative budget, we'll see. So they'll trade straight up for Blackburn, which doesn't make sense. I mean, he is 29. God, he's just giving up so many home runs. His numbers aren't actually that far off from previous seasons. Tim or Sears? I mean, they're pretty much the same player. I mean, it really doesn't make sense to just trade him straight up. They would save some money. Hey, if they're willing to go straight up, so are we. All right, so the Dodgers trade. I really didn't want to get rid of Blackburn, but it's a business. It is a business after all. And then we're looking to send someone down. And I think that's going to be Mason Miller. I really don't want to, not gonna lie. But he's just not performing well. He is just not performing well, and that is all there is to say about it. All right. So now we have Tyler Wells, Eric Lauer, Walker Buehler, J.P. Sears, and James Caprillion. Kind of even trades, but guys that are performing a little better. Walker Buehler is definitely a wild card because he's pitched 34 innings but hasn't pitched well, but has pitched well in the past. So we're taking a little bit of a gamble on him. Let's also go to our relief pitchers and really focusing on Livon Manello. He is going. Oh, right. So we signed him in free agency. And I swear when you sign someone in free agency, they're automatically added to your 40 man. He wasn't, so he was a Rule 5 pick. So he has to be kept on the roster. Right. I feel like the game is punishing me for that. But he's been terrible. And do we look to trade him? Even though he has a ton of potential? Or maybe we just bring up another reliever. Austin Pruitt was amazing last year. We're going to move him up and just add some depth here to kind of hopefully bury Manello so he gets used a little bit less. Just limit his innings overall. We'll see if that works. We could do, a swapsy for Andrew Chafin. Who is he with? The Brewers? No, with Detroit. I'm looking at the pictures. Look at this. Okay, so he's with Detroit. How is Detroit doing? Why am I blanking on Detroit? Tigers. Jesus Christ. I think they're doing worse than us. They are. They're 4 games behind us. Actually kind of makes sense. Let's go to the trade block. Andrew Chafin. I bet you would take him straight up. No. Hey, but we want to get rid of Zach Jackson, right? Ooh. So 2 younger-ish closing pitchers. I mean, he was just awful. 6.62 ERA, and it's not a small sample size. I mean, 38 walks per 9. He's just always going to give up a lot of walks. We know Andrew Chafin. Yeah, we're going to make this trade. All right. We're also going to go to, so Phil Maton, we're going to edit him, and he is going to be our closing pitcher. Okay. Make sure he's still on the spot. He is. Let's put Pruitt down here. So Streckenrider is our setup man, then Phil Maton. Or maybe we put Andrew Chafin as our setup guy. Jorge Lopez has been very good. So yeah, we're definitely looking a lot better, especially if Walker Buehler plays well. And I think that's going to be it, unless someone, comes up and makes a trade. But I think we traded most of the players on our trade block. Now we focus on the draft. We want to make sure that Mason Miller is the starter. Really looking for him. Oh my goodness. Did we really not? Oh my gosh. Okay. That's kind of crazy, right? All right, so you're going to go to AAA. Wow, Stuart Orr, just so happy. And he's progressing very well. He's going to be insane. If his stamina would just go up, that would be ideal. Okay. So we added another reliever in here. So we round that out a little bit. And then that took away our lone reliever. But like AA, I think they play like 50 games or something. So you don't need like anything crazy. It works. Yeah, look, they're 6-8, which is weird, right? So they're 6-8, and somehow they're saying they've pitched 113. Like JT Ginn is 7-7. How does that make any sense? That's weird. That's very weird. Okay. All right, and now 10-1 versus Cleveland. Oh my goodness, look at this. So after a disastrous June, here in July, we are cooking. 6, winning 8 out of 10. So maybe some of these trades are paying off. 13-4 versus Cleveland, then a 3-7, then 10-1. So the bats are coming alive. This looks like we're giving up. Okay, still giving up some runs, but you love to see that. Matt Chapman, look at this. 4 for 5 with a home run, 4 ribbies, a double, and a triple. Okay. Our draft picks, we're still progressing. No one's super interested, and I don't want to. So if you offer them a contract and they don't take it, then their interest level goes down. I mean, $5 million isn't a lot for the number one pick, or the number for your first round pick. So we're just gonna play it cool. Rock hounds don't have the minimum number of pitchers. Really? Okay. But we're out of relief pitchers, so you guys are gonna go to Double A. Congrats. This is who's our A pitcher? Oh, Gillian, right. 60 overall. All right, so they get to call up. They're going to be long relievers. Yeah, we'll leave them as long relievers. Okay. Pozo. I still never pronounce his name. He's only out for a couple days, so we keep him active. Jacob Wilson is no longer injured, so he comes back. And we continue winning. So we swept the Padres. We won 3 out of 4 versus Texas. We won 2 out of 3 versus Cleveland. And so far, we've split the series with Kansas City. We need the Rangers. We need someone above us to fall off. But we are improving. And that's what you like to see. Okay. Matsui. He wants 5-3. We have quite a bit of money to burn. We're going to offer him 6. And he signs. No one else is demanding much money. So if we can sign Manny Osuna, our second round draft pick, he wants 2.3. Slot value is 2. We'll offer him 2.7. And he signs. Now let's get Mario Velez in here just so we can scout him a little bit more. And none of these guys are going to be particularly expensive. Good to go on Kyle Brown. We're going to offer him. He declines. Okay. All right. And we'll finalize that. Moving on. So Sean Newcomb is back. And now we have a lot of pitchers to choose from. Maybe we send down Anthony Kay. He's not very high overall. He's not pitching particularly well. We have lots of other pitchers. And we have other lefties. Let's do that. So Sean Newcomb. Is going down to AAA Las Vegas. Okay. Feel good about that decision. And our AAA roster has too many. Two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Joe Boyle is terrible. He's going down to Double A. Okay, takes care of that problem. All right, so we split the series with Kansas City. Not bad. Twins are offering us Miguel Andujar for Justin Topa, who this might actually be, yeah. This is actually, I don't know why they want to make this trade. but it looks like he's having a good season. He's cheap. He is regressing. So, and Miguel Andujar. Why do you want Miguel Andujar? Whoops, wrong one. Because you don't have a ton of talent, I guess. And I mean, what is center field, left field? I don't know. I don't know. But you want it, you got it, buddy. And now he is in. And now Anthony K, who has not pitched particularly well. I think we send him down. Anthony K. Okay. Just making sure that over on pitchers. So now all of our relief pitchers look pretty good. We'll move him into a middle reliever role. Walker Buehler doesn't look like he has improved much. But Caprilion's off to a great start. Eric Lauer is improving a little bit, and Tyler Wells continues to be solid. And being solid, if you have the bats, is good enough. They assign draft picks. I mean, this should be... What? It says his signing motivation is bonus demand. He's asking for $440,000. We're offering him 50% more. We're offering him $600K. And he's not taking. That's crazy. Okay, Antonio Padilla signs. We have one more in here. Yep. So we'll let those guys cook a little bit. Fix the aviator lineups. We'll continue simming. Marlins, they want JP Sears, who looks his ERA is actually coming down. And they want to give us Edward Cabrera. Like, I would make this trade in a heartbeat, but it doesn't make sense. Like, no, there's no way the Marlins are asking for this in real life. So I have to protect the computer from itself. But we do win the series versus Kansas City. The Dodgers want Abraham Toro. Do they really? For James Paxton, who's crushing in AAA, but 75 years old. 35 years old, 73 overall. Mix the two up. I think we made all the trades that we're going to make. Going to decline. We're still last in the division, but we've gained a little bit of ground on the Astros, but just a little. I think we've made up about a game in the wild card, and we're 500 on the season, which is drastically better than last year. So even though our team rank, like talent rank here on the right-hand side, is lower than it was last year, we're actually playing better. Let's go to our draft picks here. Looks like Kyle Brown should want to sign. We're going to offer him, again, over asking value. He signs. Let's see. And I think we can go ahead and offer sign these players for, and still have $1 million left over. We do. There's no one else. And so now we see how we did. Now we see how we did. Or Or do we want to hop in here to a game, play one? I think we're good. We definitely have more games to play. We still have August and September. And obviously, this episode's already been probably an hour and a half. So, and it is, to me, one of the most exciting parts of playing franchise is your rookies. Okay, JP Sears is a popular guy. They want to give us someone very similar, a 28-year-old C potential player who is on fire. Oh yeah, so he's raking in the minors. I mean, really, like his ERA is under 4, but his WHIP's still kind of high. And even though his walks per 9 are very high, I think he doesn't do any better than JP Sears. And I think JP Sears is cold right now. Stop being cold. Just play well. Also, it just doesn't really make sense. I don't know why the Rays would do this. We're going to decline. Okay, Cardinals want Abraham Toro for Jojo Romero, who's not pitching well, but a young lefty. B potential. So it could be in the future. He looks very good. Looks like he will be very good. Okay, so why do you want Abraham Toro? What's your infield look like? Okay, so Paul Goldschmidt is aging. And Abraham Toro's only 27. And better at first. He's not going to play second, but maybe he's the backup to Nolan Gorman with Brandon Donovan out. So this trade actually makes sense. We just have to figure out, and they're willing to give up a younger relief pitcher. Yeah, I'm going to accept this. I think this kind of makes sense. The Cardinals looking for an infielder that has some batting talent. Not exceptional, but 243, 322 on base. He does have very high vision and discipline and clutch, so his on-base percentage is going to be okay. He actually has some quirks, which is weird. Excels at driving in a runner from third with less than 2 outs. That's so random, but we don't need him, and I think the Cardinals do. So we're going to make this trade. However, Jojo Romero, who is not pitching well, we're going to send him down to AAA, give him some experience there. Maybe, if he does really well in the minors, then, maybe we make the call up for September call ups. So we'll keep an eye on him. And we win 2 out of 3 versus the Giants. Another offer on JP Sears. This is actually getting kind of tiring. They wanted to give us Brandon Balick, a very similar pitcher who's pitching the same. This doesn't we're not just going to swap pitchers. And he's on fire now. JP Sears is on fire. His ERA finally drops below 5. This could be what we needed. Curtis Mead, Our backup second baseman fractured his arm, and he's out for 1 to 2 months. Goodness gracious. We'll put him on the 10-day. But Dylan Carlson is back. Oh my! Oh wow! Look at hold up, hold up, hold up! What is this? What is this? This is actually an interesting trade. They're not just trying to swap players. So Trent Grisham, guy we went out and found and traded for last year, he was on the trade block. We got him. He's having a little bit of a breakout. He's very likely going to set a personal best for home runs this year, RBIs, getting more walks, striking out a little bit more. But all of his hitting stats are going up. Highest WAR. So he's a young rising star for us, and they want to give us Christian Pache, who was an A and could not hit the ball. As you see there, only 166. And guess what? He still can't hit the ball because he can't hit righties. A lefty specialist doesn't help us. He is actually doing well in the minors. And in previous iterations of MLB The Show, he was like a or B potential player. Here a C. Maybe he's gone down after not being able to hit a right-handed pitcher, which you're going to face a lot in the MLB. All right, so they want to give us Pache, Nelson Rada. Okay. And Randy De Jesus. So he looks like he has like the most potential of anyone because he actually has some contact, a little bit of power, some defense. But I'm not giving up, even though all of these young guys, we intend to have Trent Grisham as our everyday starter for a while. It's also an interdivision trade, so it doesn't make sense. I think it'd be really funny to trade for Mike Trout. That'd be so funny, and my wife would hate me because she hates Mike Trout with a passion. But interesting trade. Probably ones the A's would take in real life. Honestly, that's what we love to do. We're the farm of the MLB. Today's the trade deadline. We're done with trades. And let's go to our... All right, so I'm sure the game has absolutely wrecked our lineups. No, I think they've stayed the same. Geloff hitting 20 bombs. I mean, really, this is pretty much what I expected. Yeah, I think this is all okay. Looks like, oh yeah, okay. Really disappointing season after hitting 271 with 314 on base last year and 130 at bats, so not a small sample size. Doing very poorly this year. But, and our pitchers are getting on fire. Love to see that. Okay. Dylan Carlson. No, that's fine. I'm okay with Seth versus righties. And then Edward Olivares. Oh, that's what I had. I had Olivares as DH. And pretty similar numbers, but Dylan Carlson gets on base a lot more. So we're going to make that switch. So Dylan Carlson comes in. Olivares goes back to DH because he has the reaction time of a snail. Dylan Carlson versus, he doesn't have a lot of power, but he gets on base at 320. So he's going to switch. And then, oh, here we go. This is what was missing. And then versus lefties, we have Capel, who's actually doing really well. But Noda crushing. But I don't know why he's in the 2 spot. I think we'll switch those guys. So Olivares, then Chappie, then Noda. Geloff. So, and then we switch Carlson and Olivares. So Olivares is our DH. Dylan Carlson's in left. Grisham in center. Connor Capel in right because Seth Brown can't hit lefties. And that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So our lineups are set. All right. So a much better July. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So last month we only won 8 games, and this year we only lose 10 games. So much better. We had a couple back-to-back losses, but other than that, we had a lot more wins in a row. So that's very exciting. We made some trades, and now is the moment of truth. Drum roll, please. Brrr. Oh, wait. There we go. Drum roll, please. Brrr. We have a good draft. We have a very high above average draft. Unfortunately, not the A+ draft. I think I did say we have the potential to never need to draft a pitcher for like the next 3 years, but we came close. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have, count them, 5 B potential players, 1 A potential player, and 2 very high C potential players. So, and our C potential players are both relief pitchers, so that is not a disqualifier. Pretty much all relievers are C potential. And then all of our B or A potentials are our starting pitchers. So, Anthony Matsui, 62 overall, 89 potential. We'll take that. He was our control guy, I think. Then we have Manny Osuna, absolute flamethrower from the pen, lefty. Pretty good. His K per 9 wasn't quite as high as we thought maybe it would be, but still great velocity, great break. 21-year-old Kyle Brown from the Netherlands. Interesting name and depiction for someone from the Netherlands. Not exactly, I think, what you would expect. But super high velo guy. Doesn't give up walks, strikes out. Decent. 60 overall, Thomas Crespo. Nothing extraordinary here. Just decent. Roosevelt Bronson. Another well-rounded overall player. Apparently can't field the ball at all, which is interesting. That's probably why he was ranked so low, because his fielding was so bad. Because the game does always value defense. The Mario Velez, only 57 overall, which is not great. His hits, Ks, and walks per 9 are all very bad. But at least he doesn't give up home runs. And not great stuff, but stamina out the wazoo. I don't know. I don't have a ton of hope for this guy, unfortunately, but he's got potential, so we'll see. And then Antonio Padilla, our last pick with a 92 potential and 54 overall, so more of a long-term project, but a lefty with A potential, 18 over or 18 years of age, but pretty low overall. Has great break or pretty good velocity. Everything else is not good. So he is a long-term project, but with a potential and only 18 years old, I'll take it. So an all pitcher draft, but I feel pretty good about it. Let's see if any other teams fared particularly well. Certainly not Seattle. They had an awful draft, although they do get a 94 potential right fielder, Raul Ibarra. Um, but 21 years old, little agey. The Rangers I don't see anyone that's going to bother us too much. Braves strike out. Marlins, really bad draft. The Mets have an okay draft. There was someone, was it the Rockies? I think it was the Rockies or the Marlins. Had like the second overall pick and they just tanked. Any really interesting players here? Kevin Boyle, left fielder with 88 potential. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking to see like where these, position players are that actually have good potential. Johnny Inman actually looks pretty good. Really good bat for a catcher. Looks like he gets on base. We don't look at catcher because we have two really good catchers already, but maybe that's where, the talent was for position players. Two catchers, both 18 years old, both mid to high B potential. A center fielder with 90 potential. So they got some decent picks there. There, left fielder 90. Oh my goodness, this is the guy that we passed on, and he ended up having a potential, and massive power. I don't remember his speed being that high though, but it actually looks like he has decent speed and stealing. Yeah, I mean, actually, maybe I would have taken him if I would have seen this, but it's all a guess. Someone that we looked at also, it's like, do you take this with the number 4 pick in the draft? Maybe. After picking the exact same position with the exact same build, but someone who can actually play defense. I don't know. Moving on. Pirates. This was the first baseman we looked at, Jimmy Post. He was an 88 potential, 59 overall. Good bat skills, gets on base. I mean, he would have been good. Could have sat behind Ryan Noda for a few years. So, I don't know. Maybe a swing and a miss on that one. Pun intended. Yeah, here's another A potential catcher. So that's 2 we saw in this draft. So, holy smokes. And Wade Quintana. So this was the Rockies' pick, 1 pick before us. Really good player, likely going to simulate well with, but only 60 stamina, which is not what you really want to see. Like that's only good for probably 5 innings, 6 or 7 at most, 6 at most. And Preston Musser, 94 potential player, okay, but 23 years old. So definitely some good players here. Some guys out here, that have high potential in these positions. Catchers seem to be a really, I mean, we've seen, what, two or three B potential and multiple A potential catchers. So, I mean, look at his contact and vision and discipline already at 18 years of age. Even though he's only 65 overall, he could start in the MLB. He could. For a team that was bad enough. Yeah, another, I don't know. So, I don't know. But also a lot of trash in here. Some teams completely whiffed on the draft. Yeah. But ourselves, ourselves. Here's an 89, Jorge Villa. Oh, we definitely looked at him. I think we ended up taking someone else. Excuse me. But high B potential, relief pitcher. All right. I think we can kind of work these a little quicker. This was another guy we looked at, Felipe Diaz. Again, maybe worth the number 4 overall pick, not sure. But great contact. Just not a lot of speed. Not very good on defense. Another good first baseman. Okay. Astros, we don't have to worry about. I mean, huge velocity and break and stamina from David Chambers. B potential. He might actually be kind of difficult to hit. So we might be having to face him in the future. Okay. All right. Overall, though, I think it's safe to say we had the best draft. We did not get any position players, of course, but our lowest potential players were 79 overall. And, looking at their potentials, uh, Kyle Brown, he fell on the low end. Bronson was right in the middle. I mean, really everyone was right in the middle. Padilla was on the higher end. But overall, I feel really good about this draft. I feel really good about the position we're in, surprisingly. You have to remember we're also in a hyper competitive division. If you look across the MLB, it's got to be one of the most competitive divisions, especially here in the game. Everyone is only a few games away from 500, with the exception of the Astros. So, are we going to win the division this year? No, but we are in the hunt for a wild card spot. Again, only 4.5 games back. Let's take a look at how the team is faring. Soderstrom, really down year. Looks like he just cannot hit lefties to save his life. His potential went down from an A to a B. It's really frustrating. But maybe has a good second half season. Dylan Carlson doing pretty well. Zach Geloff is still kind of our star. Although Ryan Noda, only 4 home runs behind, but a better average. I mean, OPS over 850. I mean, this is in a 2.3 WAR. I mean, from a 75 overall player, you like that. You like that a lot. Matt Chapman has had a resurgence in his career, absolutely dominating lefties and having one of his better seasons of recent memory. Maybe potentially one of his best seasons of his career if he can up his slugging percentage a little bit. But this is so far his highest OPS since 2020. So, and that was the year they made the playoffs. So, definitely feel really good about that. Edward Olivares doing great for us in the DH spot. Ronnie Maraschino, young player who's improving. Just okay. Seth Brown, our grizzled veteran, still hanging in there, still improving, having a pretty good season. Would like to see that on base go up a little bit for sure. And Trent Grisham, who was injured but is now back, now looking to be a staple in this offense. And if you look outside of Soderstrom and Carlson, everyone else has like 15 plus homers or close to it. So that's something I absolutely love. We have some decent bench bats here with Logan Davidson, Connor Capel. And then pitching, Tyler Wells continues to maintain. He's playing probably a little bit above his grade. But so far, our best pitcher, Eric Lauer, finally gets hot. It would be great if we could up those hits per nine, but I don't see that improving. But his whip's going down, his ERA is going down. Walker Buehler, who came to us with like a 7 ERA, is already down to a 6 ERA. So he is improving. I look for him to continue to improve. JP Sears was on fire for a little bit. His ERA climbs back up. And James Caprillion, who we just brought up, is having a decent season so far through 18. Our bullpen, we switched around quite a bit, made some trades. Austin Pruitt came up and got shelled. So that's unfortunate, but we have the best closer, I think, in the game right now. And if we can just maintain, if our starting pitching can catch and we see some improvement, then I think we could see ourselves making a wild card run. And that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you did not like the video, that is fine. Please dislike it and let me know in the comments how I can improve. Really appreciate it. I'm having a ton of fun with this series, and I hope if you are watching this, you are too. So thanks again so much. I'll see you next one.